Morning, everyone. Glad to meet you all, and I'm so grateful for be here, and thanks for inviting me to talk and share of my passion, freedom, and fatigue. It's actually first time that I share about my fatigue in public. Hope it's not too heavy. Bear in mind, I'm very soft-spoken, speaks very slow, so it's very opposite from Brian. Yeah. One of my colleagues in India once said about independent journalism or freelance journalism, quote, "I have tasted a blood of freedom. I will never go back to legacy media newsroom." But fatigue is occupational hazard, she said. So it's something we have to deal with as a society, she mentioned. That struck me quite hard. That was a 2019 interview, so I would like to share about my fatigue, burnout when doing self-funded undercover reporting in remote conflict-afflicted regions in Asia. Also, I'll be sharing my experience and passion. Why would I still do this, and what I have been doing on the ground to report Asia today. And I will share my experience reporting in Merauke, in the Indonesian-administered Papua. That was undercover reporting in 2018. So who am I? So my name is Seulki Lee. It's hard to pronounce maybe for foreigners. I've been doing independent reporting from 2011. This picture is me from my first reporting in Baobao City, South Sulawesi, where there is a local ethnic minority which adapt to use Korean alphabet system, Hangul, for their indigenous language. You may want to ask, what is independent backpacking journalism? I wanted to be a journalist, to be on the ground writing and sharing stories of people and events up close. It's very simple. This picture is my backpack and someone else's big bag in Van City, Turkey, 2015. I was there to cover stories about Kurdish independence struggle against Turkey and Erdogan presidency. So what I have been covering, I've been in around South and Southeast Asia. These are the regions and countries I've covered. And the topics I'm interested in is politics of human rights, development justice, women's rights, and transitional justice. So it's all very heavy. But I can say I enjoyed much of these reporting experiences. So you may have been there or not, but there is Indian-administered Kashmir, Nepal, India's northeast region, and Sri Lanka, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Indonesian-administered Papua, Timor-Leste, Laos, Vietnam. I can tell you all the stories of these regions, but it's only few minutes I'm allowed to speak. So here's very complicated CV of my own. It's really hard to put in 2 pages all the time because it's not enough. I've been everywhere to do reporting, volunteering, and drifting. So I'm a journalist, but also a volunteer activist. So you can check all this in my LinkedIn page later on. So I want to share about my experience of fatigue and burnout. It's my first time, as I told you, to speak up about fatigue and burnout as a professional, which is almost taboo topic in public, according to my senior fellow journalist, especially among independent reporter, because it's a turn down kind of topic. So we don't really share why we are burnt out, why we are so tired about doing this, but why we are still keep doing it. So this is a picture from Way Island in Indonesia. There's a lot of tides coming in, but we still jump into it all the time. So I want to share that feeling with you. This is a picture from Langtang Valley, Nepal. There is a man taking a rest on the way. He's back to Kathmandu. I feel enormously tired after every field reporting, actually. So after reporting, what I do is actually sleep all day, few days without eating or meeting people. And I thought it's okay. So then I can go back to field reporting after full rests and keeping my savings. But eventually I got into burnout. And the cycle repeated, but I didn't acknowledge it to myself, and nor I didn't address it to fellow journalists or loved ones, friends and family members. So I was kind of trapped in that cycle of taking a long break, go back to field reporting. But why do I do this? Why does independent backpacking journalism matter? It's the reason I keep do this. I thought to myself, it's an addiction, I think. It's an amazing way of life to observe and document the life unknown to many others. So for last 10 years, I've been keep doing it, but 10 years is the maximum, I think, to keep doing it without any support or reward. So I'm going to share my story of undercover reporting from the field. It's a village called Silil and Muting. It's in Merauke Regency, Indonesia. There are people fighting against Indonesian military, paramilitary, or Korean company, which runs palm oil plantation. And these companies have cleared rainforest, massive scale, but they put this as an afforestation. It's a very weird word, but they actually, two companies, Korean-owned two companies, cleared 49,000 hectares of rainforest in Papua to build an oil palm plantation, and it's still going on. And this region is actually banned for humanitarian agencies, foreign media, or NGOs to access. So it's really rare to see on the field, on the ground reporting about what's happening. And you can really see militaries go around with the guns and all. So I had no other choice to go there undercover to report the story on the spot. So I went there. I got a lot of help from Catholic Church group and NGO groups and lawyers. So for a week I was there as an anthropologist, interviewing Papuan women's life and culture. But actually I was reporting about this Korean company called POSCO International and their palm plantation. Of course it was really risky, but it was really worth it as well. Risk is there because if I got caught or get covered by others, but also it's a risk for the people who live there and share their stories to foreign media. I wouldn't know whether they will be followed back by militaries or local officials or companies. So it was a risky thing. But I think it's important to document and witness of bribery, which was happening there, and machine guns shooting against civilians, and land grabbing. So it was all happening there actually by the government and government officials or military officers, but was rarely reported for the media. So my achievement here to share is actually I managed to make it published. That's what I think is a small but not small achievement. So this is the cover of Hangyeol에 21, the Korean news weekly. It's the first reportage of kind in Korean media. Of course, there are many stories about Papuan struggle against palm oil plantation in Indonesia, but it was all second source or third source. It was the first time to go in there. The title here is in Korean, but it's translated into palm oil plantation on the seized land of Papuan indigenous community. It was a 4-page article. Also, I reported it for the Dialogue Earth. Back then it was called China Dialogue, but I think they changed their name. So the first sentence of this story is like this. In 2019, South Korea imported 745,000 metric tons of palm oil, up from 194,000 metric tons in 2005. But it's really a weird logic among Koreans that the Korea Forest Service, which is the main funder of this palm oil plantation, and various other Korean finance institutions classify oil palm development as bioenergy afforestation. And this is very perverse use of the word afforestation, which generally means planting trees for environment and climate. But they are clearing tropical forests for monoculture plantations. So in Korea, in government officials, they don't realize afforestation means violence of somebody's rights on the ground. So this story also got published in Modern Diplomacy 3 years back. As of 2017, palm oil and its byproducts accounted for 88% of South Korea's biodiesel imports. So it's not only for instant noodle, but it's for bioenergy, for transportation, especially for public transportation, and which is banned in EU, I heard. And I think it's a bit of a jump, but there is this sharing of thoughts among independent journalists that news industry and journalism today actually fail to address and protect people's rights, ecology, climate, and democracy. So more and more independent journalism became important, I think. So now I'm in the phase of preparing to launch my own independent media. I prefer it to be a non-profit, non-partisan, independent media startup covering Southeast Asia and South Asia, which is my specialty. I mean, my professional experience has been focusing on human rights, development justice, and national defense. And I would hope this would serve people's decision making in Asia, and which will be available in Korean and English. I am under incubating program in Korea Center for Investigative Journalism, or known as News Tapa. So I'm a fellow for a year, and maybe next year, sometime November, I will be able to launch a media covering these issues constantly. So that's it. Thank you for listening.